psychology. Two sides of the same coin. Hey, my beloved ones, it's me, Kath, or Katharina. Great that you're tuning in again. Thanks for that. Today I have a really exciting topic for you, so I hope yoga and psychology. At first glance, they seem quite different, right? One old and spiritual, the other modern and scientific. But believe me, if you look closer, you see a lot of overlaps, and I promise it will also be a bit entertaining. So buckle up, take your tea, grab your coffee or water, and make yourself comfortable, and let's dive in it. First of all, parallels between yoga and psychology. Okay, let's start easy with the first point. Breathing exercises, that is pranayama. In yoga, we breathe deeply into the belly, chest, collarbones. In different rhythm, we have a lot of breath techniques. The modern world is calling it breath work. Sometimes it feels like I'm becoming a balloon. Yeah. In psychotherapy, it's exactly the same. Breathing exercises against stress or panic. Only there they sound less poetic. For example, they have this 4-7-8 technique or diaphragmatic breathing against anxiety. A little side story from my side. I once had a participant, a student in yoga, who had a panic fear flying. We did some pranayama, some breathing techniques, deep conscious into the belly. And I think about around some months later, 3, 4, I don't know, months later, she was sitting on fly classically to belly. But because of her breathing practice, she was a bit like a pro. She could handle the fear, the panic better, and even don't dive into it. She could control it, if you like to call it like that. Another point is meditation and mindfulness. In yoga, we call it Dyana and Dharana. In psychology, we have this as MBSR, I think, or MBCT. And you know what's cool? Whether you chant Om or just sit quietly and watch your breath, in the end, it calms your mind. And that is what's important. Another point is also body awareness. Yoga has the asanas, the postures, the movements, and yoga nidra, the sleep deep of yogis, the deep relaxing. We feel the body from the toes to the crown. In psychology, we have progressive muscle relaxation or body-orientated therapy. Honestly, anyone who ever fell asleep after an hour of yoga nidra knows exactly that this can be just as effective as any modern therapy form. It's even the same. Next point is observation of our thoughts, the Vritti-Nirodha, the little laundry machine, the washing machine in our head who is always running wild with the thoughts. Yeah, thoughts come and go. We are only observing them, watching them, but we are not our thoughts. That is what we learn in yoga. We learn not to believe what we think. In psychology, it's called cognitive behavioral therapy. Example from, let's say, an everyday life situation. You sit in the office or in home office, you be on work at your workplace. The head is spinning wild, crazy thoughts coming up. Maybe you put yourself down and tell yourself, oh, you're not good enough, or you're too slow. But yoga and psychology say, oh, come on, that's just a random thought. You're good enough. what you think is not true. And what's the effect? Immediately less stress. You feel better. Another point is mantra, chants, kirtan, or sound and frequencies. Of course, yoga has the well-known Om and various mantras. In psychology, it's called affirmation, sound therapy, for example. There are some good ones. Also here, for example, for everyday life, if you feel bad, if you put yourself down, if you don't feel good enough, you can tell yourself, even in front of a mirror, by looking into your own eyes, I can do this. Maybe with your inhalation, I can do this. And with your exhalation, I can do this. Or something like, I am good enough. Or a sentence where a lot of people start to cry when they look into their own eyes in the mirror, I love myself. Because people started to lose feelings for themselves. They don't feel themselves anymore. And this can help. Maybe 2 minutes in front of the mirror, and it almost feels like yoga without a mat. It's the everyday yoga practice where you don't need a mat. But wait, when they have so much in common, Katharina, what is the damn difference? Now it's getting interesting. How do they differ? Psychology is more scientific. It looks at behavior, emotions, cognitions. The goal, a diagnosis, healing, everyday usability. Yoga is much more complex. It is spiritual and a lot of more. It is a way of living. It sees body, mind, and soul as unity. Goal, liberation, moksha, to get free. Freedom, right here, right now. And then the other big point. Psychology usually thinks only of this life. Yoga thinks about karma, rebirth, cosmic connections, the planets, all of that. Meaning, psychology asks more, how do I get through everyday life without stress? Yoga asks, who am I really beyond everyday life, thoughts, and ego? Relationship to each other. So, how are they connected? Psychology is like a modern scientific extract of yoga techniques. That's really cool, I like it. I think it was John Kabat-Zinn built a program with MBSR that is used worldwide, international. Clear case here, yoga roots and modern psychotherapy, and that's so cool. Yoga is older, more holistic, spiritual. Psychology, younger, like the little sister or brother, analytical, and maybe some way a bit more pragmatic. A little story also here from everyday life. I saw a friend in yoga one day, and she said, hey Kat, I now meditate 10 minutes daily. That's basically replace my therapy. And I was like, yeah, that's true. That's cool. Go ahead with that. But remember, psychology also gives you some really easy tools for the modern big city person. So you can deal with real life problems in a structured way. But at that point, I also have to say, we are all different. So we have some philosophical people, and they may like the yoga philosophic more because they are more poetic or philosophical characters. And then we have more the analytic people. And maybe for them it's more easy to use the psychological technique. And both is really cool. So my conclusion would be use both, because yoga calms down, gives you a lot of more. Also some really nice stories from the past. If you read where Arjuna, the big warrior prince king is battling his family and he don't want, and then Krishna gives him the whole instruction into yoga. That's so deep. That's the big song, or a part of a big song. And we have so many cool stories in yoga. But psychology structures, if you don't like that story mode, then you can use psychology. It's exactly cool, and both together is the best. It's such a top combo. The next point, the big point, everyday life and examples. Yeah, Kathy, you're talking so much, that is so cool, but damn, how can I use it? I have so much work, I have my family, I have that to do, a lot of to do. So, for example, you have stress at work. You don't have time to see your psychologist, or you don't get an appointment, and the yoga classes are not yours, or you don't have time to go there, then practice by yourself. For example, stress comes up when you're sitting in front of your computer. So distance yourself for 1 minute or 5 minutes and make some pranayama. The fulfilling breath, the perfect breathing, where you use to bring up the belly, the abdomen like a balloon, then you breathe higher, that even the ribcage and the chest lifts up and the collarbones. Or maybe Ujjayi pranayama or Narishodhana. Also that techniques I will put on my channel, so you get the techniques also from me. Or, for example, the day is over and you want to lay in bed, but you lay there and your thoughts are racing before sleeping through your mind. So take 2 minutes of meditation or 5, or put on some nice yoga nidra to calm down the mind. Yeah, and also yoga nidra. You feel muscle tension after home office, or when you're sitting in front of your computer? Come on, take a short asana session. Relax your neck, your shoulders, maybe some stretching combined with your breath, or yoga nidra, where you can release the tension in the muscles. Psychology techniques in everyday life, for example, would be questioning thoughts, CBT, or progressive muscle relaxation, affirmations. It's really good techniques you also can use for yourself. Small exercises for listeners. You want to do now? Come on, let's do it. Find a comfy seat. Straight your back, relax your shoulders, the crown of the head showing up to the sky. Or lay down flat on the ground in the bed and take 3 deep breaths. Count your breath. For example, inhale 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Continue by your own, in your own rhythm. Maybe you want to lay one hand on your abdomen, on your belly tummy, and the other on your chest. Feel the breath like a wave is flowing through you. And maybe you can breathe longer, count higher. 5, 6, 7, 8. But watch out. The inhalation and the exhalation have the same quality. And think, yoga, psychology, use both. Both is equal good. Nothing of that is better. Only one is older and more complex. So at the end, what could we say? Psychology is like an amazing toolbox just for mental health. And if you get an appointment, if you need a psychologist, take the appointment. And if you have to look a bit more around for a good therapist, do it. Don't give up. It's same with yoga. You will find the perfect teacher directly. We have a lot of wrong-faced teachers around, not good teacher. They don't have a good professional training, don't practice so long. So give yourself time. Look around. Yoga is a life path for body, mind, and soul you can integrate in every day's life. Many psychological methods work like partial aspects of yoga, but yoga goes deeper: liberation, self-realization, and ethics, morals. And the best, you don't have to decide that or that. You can live yoga and use psychology and increase your own well-being, health, and life. So, thank you for joining again. If you enjoyed this episode, of course, I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And share it with your family, friends. Rate it if you like to. If you like, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like, just be honest and be your true self. Don't give the opposite. And try a small breathing exercise in between. Yoga meets psychology right in everyday life. Feel free to leave a comment down below. I would really be curious about what is your experience with that. You have good experience, bad experience? You combine already both? Or practice one of those? Feel free to let me know. Until next time, stay curious, skeptical, and breathe consciously. Shanti Om.